Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our post show where the lot of us are going to sit around in our orange chairs and talk about everything that we just experienced. Thanks for sticking with us. Let's introduce some people. We've got Paul. And Josh and Andy. And of course, I'm Steve. Welcome. How's everybody doing?
Great.
It's been a great morning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good morning. It's always good when we can kind of come together, you know. Well, one, it's beautiful out.
Yep.
It's supposed to get hot.
Before the heat dome.
Yeah, this week's supposed to get really warm.
Really hot. But on just a beautiful day, and we get to come here and we get to worship together. We get to open up God's Word and experience something pretty cool. Yeah. Before we jump into everything that we kind of experienced, what was something that maybe you experienced this morning that you can share? It's something that impacted you in a way that might have been extra cool.
Oh yeah, all the kids from kids camp that I was outside running games with came up and wanted to give me fives, and then did what I did, because usually I like withhold a five and then give it with that. Some of them were like, "Ha ha, gotcha!" I was like, "All right, good, sweet, I made an impact," because it's a lot of work, and you're here after work every night, and you're out, just making sure kids are having a blast, and the fact that they remembered it was just awesome. So yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
How many kids do we have at kids camp again? Do you
I
guys remember?
think anywhere between like 105 and 115 at any given night, because I know there's like 120, but some kids just simply can't make it. But it was always packed. It was always loud. Everybody was. I didn't see a kid complain once. They were having fun the whole time. They didn't want to leave. That's the kind of kids camp I love being a part of.
Yeah, I was working in the tech booth with our guys, and there was at least several times where these kids are screeching and screaming and
so
being
loud.
as loud as they can. So we pulled out the decibel reader, and we were like hitting 103, 104. Like
awesome.
It was like ear piercing.
Yep.
But it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff.
We were saying how the stage was sticky, which you don't get that when you're doing that. But I'm like, but hey, that means a good time was had.
Yep.
If kids don't leave a mess, then they did not have fun.
Oh, they definitely left a mess for us.
They left a mess. Yeah.
It amazes me just how much the kids are able to do and accomplish. I've seen many VBS and kids camp weeks in the past, and it just never ceases to amaze me, like what they're capable of, and how much we as adults just kind of discount them for what they're able to do, and it always just surprises me so much. So.
Yeah, it was a great week. Exciting stuff. There's a whole bunch of great pictures and great videos and things that you guys can go and check out. You can go to our Facebook page, our Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. They're all on there. We just had an amazing week. And so for all of our volunteers who came and sacrificed time this week, we just want to say thank you again. Thank you for making it an amazing time. These kids had a blast, and they got to learn about Jesus and got to learn some amazing stuff too.
The thing. Yep.
Yeah, but it's cool to have those connections on Sunday morning. So when you see those kids and they recognize that, hey, that's the games guy, whatever. So very cool.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people who got baptized this week as well, which was cool to have them come up to me and say, "Oh, hey, Josh, how you doing?"
Yeah,
it's like, great. Are you still cold from the water?
Well, it's good, and they're getting to know who you are. I mean, you're still relatively new here. You've been here now what? Almost a month on staff.
Seems just like yesterday.
I know, almost was. But yeah, baptism last week was really cool. There's some great stories. And unfortunately, we were so far out, and we didn't have any of our equipment with us. We didn't have any way to like live stream it. So if you were tuning in and trying to watch us last week, sorry, we just couldn't make that happen. But we were out at Klein's Resort, and we had, how many baptisms did we have last week?
33.
33 people getting baptized. It was very cool to listen amazing. And hear their stories. All those pictures and videos are out there too, so go check those out. Yeah. Paul, what about you? Anything jump out this morning?
No, I mean, I just driving in and seeing the parking lot construction. I'm just like, oh, hey, dirt time. Hey, we're gonna
stuff's happening.
Be playing in dirt for a while. I mean, it's always just exciting to see. I mean, that is a physical manifestation of some things that we just know God's doing.
Right.
And so it's funny how just seeing piles of dirt can get you excited because God does amazing things with things that seem just so simple.
Right. Yeah, and they've been working all week. It was funny because it started like right when kids camp was starting.
Yeah, on Monday,
We're
I was like,
oh
"Whoa,
no, what are we
boy."
gonna do? Worked out great. But we've been watching those trucks all week here and moving dirt, and there's still a lot to go. But you're absolutely right. To be able to physically see the realization of a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of donations, a lot of
And prayers.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
prayers,
absolutely.
and to be able to see the first step in this next phase that we're venturing into is really cool. So for everybody who doesn't know, we are beginning our Imagine More campaign is physically starting right now with the construction of our parking lot, which is really cool. We're going to be over doubling the amount of spaces that we have right now, which is really awesome.
It's just crazy how much goes into a parking lot. Like you think it's just flatten the ground and then put some stuff over it. No, like they got to dig trenches and put in drainage and electrical and all this other stuff. I'm just like, man, what are those tubes for? Oh, those are important. Okay.
Yeah, you would think.
There's so much construction going on. We just had to get in on the party, you know.
Did.
That's
Yeah.
true. We were feeling left out.
Yeah.
Well, Paul feels it just as much as I because he lives over by
Yeah.
me,
Oh,
right on
gosh.
right on Portage Road
Yeah.
between like Bacon and South Shore.
Oh.
it's misery.
It's just stupid.
Yeah. I have to go certain ways to your house. I'm like, can't go that way or I'll get
Yeah.
stuck. Yeah.
it's
Crazy.
It's pretty bad.
And
But,
over on the west side of Portage, where I live, there's construction everywhere too. So there's no good way for me to get down to church. I'm just like, oh great, I got to go 4 miles out of my way to get there. Well,
but you got here, and we're excited that you're here.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into some of the things that Perry was talking about this morning because there's a lot of good things that we can kind of extract from this, and I'd love to kind of hear some of your experiences and kind of what you guys have experienced. The first thing that I know Perry is talking about, and he talked really about through the whole thing, is this idea of the calling that God has placed on your life, right? When we receive Jesus Christ as our personal Lord and Savior, you know, like we're tasked with a mission. And that mission is like imprinted on it becomes imprinted on our DNA and who we are and what we're about. So I would love to hear maybe a short story from you guys on a time that you really truly have felt that calling in your life and that led to an action where God is like prompting you and you're like, this is it. I got to do this.
I have a great story because it's a prompting and then it's also like, oh, I know why I'm prompted to go back to what I was doing. So before we had Josh and then Perry and now Isaac, we had Mike. Zito was our youth group leader. And when he left, there was nobody to help out. And they came to us and they said, would you and Angie be willing to help? Because you've been doing this long, if you know how things work. And I was like, and I felt the call to say yes. And then as soon as I started, I was like, I know exactly what I'm called for, and it's to help out, not lead this thing.
Yeah.
But we did that for 2.5 years, I think, before Josh came. And then, so I'm glad that I did because I don't know if the youth group would have lasted or survived because we had a very small group, but we kept going and kids kept coming and then they heard about it. So when Josh got here, it's not like he had to build everything from the very ground up and everything. So yeah, that's a great story about when you're called to do something, even if you're not totally equipped or skilled, just sometimes showing up, putting in the effort, and then people will show up to help you. Like Tanner, I was like, thank you, Tanner. You want to lead messages? Go right ahead, because that's not what I'm called to do. And it's just, it's been great. Now, this is my almost 15th year, I think, with, volunteering with youth group and stuff. And those 2.5 years, I was like, oh man, I know what I'm called for and what I'm not called for. And God will stretch you, but then also be like, all right, you've reached your end. Now you get to go back to what I've called you for. So
yeah, and that's such a good example of being open. I know Perry talked about that, being kind of open to allowing the Spirit to like move you, but also just being okay with the actual calling on your life. Going, yep, this is not my vocational thing that I need to pour into.
Yep.
But I need to be willing to step up and be that bridge and make sure that God can use me the best way that he can. And then somebody eventually is called to come in and take the reins. So yeah. What a great example of somebody who, because a lot of times we we hear this idea of like, oh, there's a calling in our life, and it's like, okay, you go into mission work or go into church work or whatever, and there's so many people that are like, that's not me. And so then they kind of like ignore this idea of calling.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's volunteering, just be like, yep, I'm going to step in. And very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to like look back on like the book of Hebrews in the Bible, chapter 11. It talks about like the faith, all the faith stories, all the people that God has called and the faithfulness that God has for those people, you know, moving forward, starting with like Abraham and Noah and David and all these other girls and guys. And it's like, man, if God calls you to something, like he's not going to just leave you, right?
Yep.
And that's like a crazy thing to me that like, okay, so my responsibility then is to just be like available to God's call. Okay, I think I can do that. Nobody knows how difficult it is to be available to God's call. Like, like the God of the universe is calling you to something. That's a pretty scary thing. But then on the other side, you look at it and you're like, man, that was the best 10 years of my life, you know, of what God has called me into. So he's faithful through it all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, my brief story, I won't take up too much time, but back when I went to college for ministry and for theology and everything, I left college and went into a sales job renting cars, which, you know, connect those dots. But basically I was the only source of income for the house. I was working 60 plus hours a week, plus 10 hours of commute time at least. And so I was just, and wife, newborn at the house. I mean, I was just drained constantly. And so you can imagine how much effort and time I had to volunteer at church, you know, and that was how much I wanted to do that. But both my mom, but then my wife just said like, you should go up and try the worship team. It's just like, you should at least just try out there. And then my wife she saw me playing. She saw that joy and that love and just that excitement. And she's just like, I haven't seen that in a while. And you need to keep on doing this. And that was God's voice, absolutely, saying like, this is what I created you for. And that started a journey that, you know, 20 plus years now that has taken me anywhere from Illinois and up and around in all places where I'm here now. And yeah, like I said, that availability, you're foolish to think it's not going to cost you something.
Right.
Because God's not going to ask you to do something that is just super easy, because otherwise you're not going to have the value for it that he needs you to see in it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. That's something I so appreciate about you too, Paul, is, you know, your understanding of placement, of where God has placed you, and understanding there are times and there are seasons where things are going to flow really well, and times where it's going to be very difficult. But it's that, like you said, it's that availability, it's that understanding that God can use me, that there is joy in that, and man, that's a key piece that when we kind of are outside of that, when we're closed off, we forget about the joy that we find through our Creator. And man, it's so good. It's so good when we finally kind of open ourselves up to that. In the last couple minutes that I know that we have together, that was another thing that Perry kept talking about, was this idea of being open and being closed. You know, sometimes we're closed. Sometimes we get to a place in life where we start closing the door really slowly, and before we realize it, that door is shut. We don't kind of realize it. And I was thinking, maybe one of you guys has an example of a time in your life where you've realized you've allowed that door to close, and then it's that realization of saying, you know what, I need God to help me open this up again. I need to become more available to Him and follow that true calling that He has. Anybody experience anything like that?
Yeah, kind of like more recently for me. Like I don't, maybe 5 years ago, I started to feel God kind of stirring in my heart to leave, you know, student ministry. You know, I've been doing it for, 14 years up to that point, and it's what I knew. You know, it's what I loved. It's what I thought I would do for a lifetime. And then And then God comes and says, I'm gonna call you out. And I was like, okay, for what? Where are we going? I don't know. It's like, okay, so in the jails, they have this door system where you go through one door and you go into this little room between doors. The other door shuts, you can't open it, and you also can't open the next door either. You're just kind of stuck in the middle here. And that's what I felt like. And that's what I think what a lot of people feel like sometimes is like, hey, God, I'm waiting for you to open this next door, knowing that the door behind me is already closed. Like, where am I going from here? Okay. So then, fast forward, I leave student ministries. And it was more than that. God was calling me to leave, essentially like leave the church that I'd been at for a while and come here, into this position of community life pastor. And that was crazy because I was like, none of it felt good. None of it felt good. But it's also like, I also had to force myself to open my hands and say, I'm available to what you're doing, God, as much as it's going to stink, as much as it's not going to feel good. Like, I know that this is something that you're doing and I'm going to be obedient to it. That was hard.
It's so hard especially with pastoral work and ministry. But it's actually, I've come to realize in my own journey, it's a very big comfort. Working for God means I'm not in charge of the result. And it's actually freeing, but it's so counterintuitive to everything we've been led to as workers and everything in our culture.
Right.
It's releasing everything to God. What he does with it is on him and not me.
That's so hard to do because we live in the society, like you said, of metrics and of charting our success through those metrics.
Yeah.
Right. And being able to kind of release all of that, especially if you're somewhat of a controlling nature.
We all are.
It's also tough
Who
too,
isn't, right?
because those successes you may not even ever see them in your lifetime, and
Right.
that's hard to deal with. Whereas in my job, I can I did this, I know I did it right, and my boss told me I did. Like our boss, sometimes you don't know until
Right.
you don't know that something you said or did years ago could have helped change somebody and brought them to Christ eventually. So it's difficult, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. When that promised land is something that maybe you might never ever cross that border, but leading your people and getting there is what you're tasked with and what you're called to.
I think it's C.S. Lewis who says, like, the first thing we're going to say when we get to heaven, we get to talk to God, we're going to be like, oh, now it makes sense.
All right.
Yeah, that's always tough.
Yeah.
That's always tough when we don't get to see the whole picture.
I know, but I think the open hands analogy is fantastic because it's hard to do anything when you're all tight and closed up because you're just, even doing this, I feel like my body's all tense. I'm like, this opens you up. That's what we talk about at, Mondays at the dojo. Don't do this. Do this. It loosens everything. So same thing with here.
Do you guys
Open
know
hands.
this guy's a karate master? Black belt?
I'll talk to you about
Wow.
it later. It's not quite
You must
karate.
have,
but-
painted a
Words
lot
for
of
you in the
fences.
parking lot.
Yeah. Meet me out at the
Yeah,
dirt
maybe
hill.
on the dirt hill.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on our post show. We're excited that you guys got to experience this morning with us. We are thrilled beyond belief that God is continuing to move in and amongst the people here, but also in our parking lot and in our campaign. If you want any more information about that, you can always check out our website, my3c.org. That's the best way to get everything and get connected with us here at Connections. Thank you for joining us. We want you to know here at Connections that we love you, but more importantly, Jesus loves you, and we'll see you guys next week.